you ever considered how a flawless military victory can literally destroy an empire? This document completely shifts the perspective on the 1956 Suez Crisis.
Welcome to Strategic Labs. Like and subscribe for more strategic insights. Today, we're conducting a sharp analytical post-mortem on a campaign that fundamentally rewrote the rules of global power. We're diving into this explainer to figure out how exactly does a tactical victory trigger an imperial collapse. Let's break down how kinetic military force became utterly useless without diplomatic legitimacy. Section 1. The Suez Choke Point. The arteries of empire. Okay, so to understand this collapse, we really have to look at the volatile geopolitical landscape of 1956. Post-World War II decolonization was slamming right into British economic survival. I mean, the Suez Canal was the literal lifeline of the British Empire. It secured this massive flow of Middle Eastern oil. So in July 1956, when Egypt's president, Gamal Abdel Nasser, nationalized the canal, wow, it wasn't just some administrative economic maneuver, it was a potent declaration of sovereignty. Nasser's move threatened to entirely sever Britain's oil lifeline, sending absolute shockwaves through London and Paris. They literally saw this as an existential threat. Section 2. The Secret Tripartite Collusion. Engineering a Pretext. Right, so to reestablish dominance, British command decided they absolutely had to act. But, they needed a justification. Rather than just a straightforward declaration of war, they engineered this clandestine backdoor agreement called the Protocol of Sèvres. Talk about a massive political gamble. The plan was for Israeli forces to invade the Sinai Peninsula first, totally fabricating a regional crisis, and that would provide the perfect excuse for an immediate Anglo-French occupation of the Canal Zone under the very convenient guise of peacekeeping and separating the combatants. Let's trace how this actually unfolded on the ground. We start with Nasser nationalizing the canal in July. Then, executing that secret protocol, Israel invades the Sinai on October 29th. Fast forward just a few days, and the Anglo-French air and ground assault kicks off in early November. Operationally, the execution was remarkably swift. It showcased some highly refined joint military capabilities and technical precision from all three allied nations. Section 3. Tactical Victory, Strategic Illusion, the Mechanics of Warfare. Now, if we're just looking at the strict mechanics of warfare, the intervention was incredibly effective. The Royal Air Force rapidly achieved air superiority, and French and British paratroopers successfully seized the vital canal infrastructure exactly as planned. But here is where we execute a hard pivot from the illusion of military control to the crushing reality of political failure, because despite clear tactical success, the operation yielded immediate diplomatic isolation, severe superpower backlash, and the very real threat of economic ruin. It was a harsh, harsh lesson. In the Cold War era, kinetic force meant absolutely nothing without diplomatic legitimacy. Section 4. Superpower Diplomatic Onslaught. The Cold War Reality. You see, the British government fundamentally failed to comprehend the evolving global power dynamics. They just assumed their imperial legacy would shield them. Well, actually, they were catastrophically wrong about that. The United States was kept deliberately in the dark, and they were furious over the secret collusion. They feared this intervention would push Arab states straight into Moscow's orbit. So prioritizing Cold War stability, President Eisenhower initiated a ruthless veto. He leveraged America's massive financial weight, literally threatening a run on the British pound to force an immediate withdrawal. Britain's economic vulnerability to its closest allies suddenly became its ultimate weakness. Simultaneously, the other superpower moved in for the kill. The Soviet Union aggressively capitalized on the crisis. Moscow threatened harsh reprisals, even hinting at nuclear escalation, and utilized the conflict to supercharge their anti-Western propaganda. By framing the Anglo-French operation as blatant neo-colonial aggression, the Soviets brilliantly expanded their own influence across the post-colonial world. This left Britain and France completely, totally isolated. Section 5. 3 Disruptive Miscalculations, the Core Analysis. So, conducting our Strategic Labs post-mortem here, what were the fatal flaws in British strategic thinking? Well, we can isolate the top 3 disruptive points. Number 1. Misjudging the United States. They assumed Eisenhower would just tolerate unilateral action. Number 2, ignoring new diplomatic norms. The planners operated as if traditional imperial force was still totally acceptable, completely underestimating the UN and post-colonial realities. And number 3, severe economic vulnerability. They were completely blinded to the fact that without U.S. financial support, their military machine simply could not sustain itself. Section 6,
the Imperial collapse, a paradigm shift in global power.
Ultimately, these massive miscalculations forced a really humiliating withdrawal. And this wasn't just a military retreat, okay? It permanently severed British and French direct influence over a critical artery of global commerce. It cemented a true paradigm shift, which is perfectly captured by this insight from the source document. The crisis revealed a fundamental misalignment between Britain's imperial ambitions and the emergent international order. The crucial takeaway here for us is that military power, when completely divorced from political reality and international consensus, is a massive liability. It effectively ended British imperial primacy forever. The 1956 Suez Crisis stands as a stark warning to any world power. It proves that you can execute a flawless military operation, but if you misunderstand the economic and diplomatic board you're playing on, you will lose the war. It leaves us with a critical question for today's geopolitical landscape. In an era of deeply interconnected global economies, is independent military action by any single nation even possible anymore? This is just a preview. For the full deep dive, check out our long-form podcast on the channel. See you in the next one.